Israel's Magen David Adom emergency services reported treating 12 people for injuries after a fresh wave of missile attacks from Iran. According to an MDA statement, paramedics and EMTs attended to the victims at 3 locations in central Israel. Among the injured was a woman around 40 years old in moderate condition with blast injuries, along with 6 others in mild condition suffering from blast-related wounds. Israeli police confirmed their presence at multiple sites in central Israel and Tel Aviv districts where shrapnel had fallen. The authorities continue to manage the aftermath of the missile strike. Now joining us live, we have Dr. Satoru Nagao, who is a fellow at the Hudson Institute in Tokyo, Japan. Dr. Satoru, how could this play out for the Israeli people? Will we see further attacks, further injuries, further deaths if negotiations and a resolution to this war is not reached soon?
In this case, are you talking about damage on Israel?
Yes.
Or damage on Iran?
Okay. Israel, yes.
In this case, even if the Iran launched nearly 1,000 missile and drones, the penetrating missile and drone is a very limited number. So that's why indeed the Iran side is wasting many weapons just now. So that's why even if the small number of the casualty or death has happened in Israel, indeed Israel decision will not change because this is very limited damage. Of course, Iran will continue to use these drones and missiles, but stock is a problem because even if they are preparing the US bombing for a long time, they have already spent these drones and missiles last 2 years, and they also export many drones to Russia. So that's why it is not easy to expect they have the many drones and missiles. Under such kind of situation, if Iran continues the current level of launching the missile and drones, they will run out of stock soon. That's why they will choose the guerrilla tactics, maybe the many soft targets they try to use, but sporadic drone attack could happen, but massive drone attack, massive missile attack is very difficult to do. Maybe if they can do, maybe 1 or 2 times. View from this, if Iran uses this missile attack and drone attack as a decisive battle, the damage will be very limited for Israel. So that's why some casualty has happened. That's true. But Israel can continue the attack, I think, because the damage is very small.
Okay, Dr. Satoru, please stay with us as we move to our next story. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar has called on countries to sever their ties with Iran during a virtual meeting with around 60 envoys stationed in Israel. He stressed that Iran's ongoing military campaign and attacks on neighbouring countries show why the world must act. Saar said the repression of its own people underlines the urgent need for countries to cut diplomatic relations with Tehran. The statement from Saar's office did not specify whether the countries of the 60 ambassadors had existing ties with Iran. Joining us again live, we have retired Lieutenant Colonel Himanshi Singh, who is a Defence and International Relations Analyst located in New Delhi. Himanshi, what would this practically mean if these countries did cut relations with Iran? Would it mean the lack of consular services available to Iranian people from those countries, and how would it impact perhaps further nuclear negotiations if negotiations are returned to? You would have perhaps 60 countries who now do not have relations with Iran and who may not be able to act as mediators.
See, what we are seeing, Ruby, is a deliberate expansion of the battle space. And let's deconstruct it, see what Iran is doing. They are trying to go all out to anyone who is in any way associated with Israel and America. If anybody is terrorizing the world, it is not Iran, it is USA and Israel, let's be very, very clear on this. So Israel's appeal to 60 nations to severe diplomatic and economic ties is not a rhetoric, it is a strategic preconditioning that if in any case the kinetic escalation intensify, the states will try to shape the diplomatic environment, because somewhere after the war finishes, they have to reply to many countries, and a lot of things get shaped up post-war. So Israel is constructing a legitimacy buffer, which I don't think they have it as of now. So they are positioning themselves that any forthcoming strike as an inevitable consequence of international inaction. So let's see, the Hezbollah is also claiming that they're striking the military sites, and they are also trying to upgrade the way they are fighting the war. So somewhere I feel Israel and US, they are scared, because what they had thought earlier, that they will be able to finish this war by the barrages of missiles and the way they had bombarded the entire area. But this is not stopping. So by declaring that any, country which is having diplomatic tie or wants to have diplomatic tie with Iran should not do it, because see, the battlefield is no longer now related to only Israel or Iran. The battlefield has now expanded to many, many countries. So somewhere they're trying to control that how people are coming to this war, how looking at the war, because the battlefield may be in these countries. However, the impact is global. So the diplomatic mobilization suggests that Israel is preparing for a sustained engagement. And if you isolate your adversary diplomatically before entering a prolonged kinetic phase, then you are trying to create an architecture where they do not have any leverage. So Iran cannot overpower Israel and US in any way, because they are already facing a lot of economic crisis inside. Their military is also facing crisis of the leadership, but they know how to sustain the war. But somewhere I feel the countries like US and Israel, they are trying to ensure that Iran is choked diplomatically, militarily, economically, so that even if they are not able to bring this war to any closer, at least they will be able to tire up Iran.
Himanshi Singh, it has been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your